Hey, this is Ryan from Web Eminence with the first video in a new series I'm going to call Marketing Mentor. And this is where I'm going to be reviewing people's websites that get submitted. And I'm going to do an overall audit of the website, first impressions, navigation, page speed. And I'm also going to do some search engine marketing analysis within this review. So that'll include organic positioning and competition, as well as an analysis on advertising. So I'm hoping that this is going to be something that's going to be useful for obviously the person whose website I'm reviewing, but also for other people just to kind of glean some insight for how I view these websites. And of course, you can submit your website in the comments if you'd like me to review it on my channel. So let's go ahead and get started with this first website review. This is someone I was conversing with online, and I thought it would be a good example website to start with for these marketing mentor videos. This is a sign company in San Diego, and one of the first things I want to look at when I do these review videos of websites is the first impression that I get. I'd love to have people watching the video to comment on what their first impression is when they view this website. And what I mean by that is, where does your eye go, or what do you first notice on the website? And I think if people comment, it'll help the owner of this website to, get more opinions than just mine. But when I go to this site, the first thing I notice is this large hero image here that is it's not the name of the company, but it's just an example sign, but it's very strong, which is a good thing. But it's almost too strong to the point where sometimes I think I'm on the website for this company, whether it's Front Wave or Panda Express. This is actually changing, as you'll notice now that I've refreshed the page. So I love these images as an example of what this company does, but they're almost too strong in a way. So I wonder if there's a way to have a stronger first impression for the actual company. So for example, Signs for San Diego is the name of the company. And having their logo bigger would kind of help it compete with these large sign examples here. So that's just a first impression. So I think most people's eye is going to be drawn to this strong image here, which might lead them to the Get a Quote button, which is a good thing. They might miss the logo, like I said, and some of the stuff up here just because they're going to jump over it. I like that they have a Contact Us button up here that's pretty strong. So before I scroll down the web page, another thing I like to look at in terms of first impressions is whether or not the basic function of the business is communicated right away. I think they do a pretty good job of that with high quality commercial signs right here. I don't know if San Diego is super obvious because the logo up here. See, I even said sign because these signs here are so overpowering, but the logo does have San Diego in it, but it's so small that people are definitely not going to look at that first. They might glance up there and see San Diego. They might see it in the title or the URL, which is good. And then it is in the small text, but I'd love to have San Diego probably higher up in this tagline here, or it'd be great to have something up here even higher on the page along with these images that are so overpowering, to kind of have a strong tagline to say, signs, commercial sign company in San Diego or something like that. But seeing these signs here, obviously it tells a story of what this company does. I'd give them probably a B plus for communicating what they do. But I think they could definitely get up to, A plus with some changes that I mentioned. So if we scroll down the home page from here, we have just a basic, that tagline, and then a text paragraph with we design, manufacture, install. So that's helpful in telling people what they do, but they're gonna have to scroll down on desktop or mobile to see that. I do like these client sections here. I'd actually consider removing this one entirely because they have some other ones down here that are very strong. This is a strong point of the website where they have these kind of client stories or project examples. And when you click on one of them, before I do, I will point out that when you hover over it, it turns totally black. So I think that's supposed to be maybe transparent with some kind of text on it. But if you click on one of these, it'll take me to like a project page with more pictures and a description of the project. It looks like we're not loading an image here, or it's loading incorrectly. So I think these project pages are awesome because it shows some real work, just kind of places them in the real world, and it's like a testimonial all in one. So those are really strong, and I love that they're on the homepage, but I don't think you need it twice, and these ones are not as strong. And actually this one, so you could leave this, but maybe you don't need the images, or maybe the images need to be a bit larger. And I probably would keep this text shorter. It's just a bit too much. I like to communicate, retail, industrial, franchises, education. That's kind of who we serve. And they say that right here, clients we serve. It's more like industries we serve. So I would maybe consider like industries we serve, and then have retail, industrial with the image. And then just a short, like one line here, maybe like this long. 'Cause I just don't know if people want to read all this, and it's getting to be too long. So I think you could definitely have clients we serve, but just make that a little bit more succinct. I like having certifications and associations here. That's good to just give them some credibility. This paragraph here says why signs for San Diego. And there's talking about how they're licensed. So it's kind of like why us. And I didn't catch that at first. Signs for San Diego is their name. So I kind of misread that and didn't catch that that's their name. So might be a way to kind of set this apart. Maybe the for needs to be capitalized. I don't know, something to signify that this is the name of the company, because I kind of missed that. Maybe it would be a larger font or something. It'd be great to have a picture of the company here. I like to have photos of like the company, the owner, employees, the office, just to, again, place them in the real world and make it just more tangible. This would be a good place to put that. Here are some customer testimonials here. Looks like it might just be one. Oh no, they do scroll, so there's multiple here. It'd be nice to have an arrow or a way to scroll through these to read more. That way people have enough time to read them, and they can scroll through. Like on this one, it's short, so I'd love to get to the next one, but I gotta kind of wait for the next one. So I mentioned this section. I do love this, that they have a lot of recent work that you can scroll through and then click on them for more information, or you could click here to get to their projects page. And then down here we have a call to action that goes to the get free quote page. And then this is just a footer that's on every page with some navigation, basic contact info, open hours, phone number, and then a map. So that's fine. I don't mind the footer there. So that's the home page. If we look at the navigation here real quick, notice there's an about page with one item under it. I don't usually like to have parent items or parent menus with one item underneath. I'd probably rather have careers put up in the main menu or put up somewhere else on a different page. So that's something to consider, because someone might miss that there's an about page. So while we're here, I'll comment on this real quick. They got the certifications again, our story, our signed company info. That seems like almost too much info. There might be a way to bullet point this just to hit the highlights. A lot of people aren't going to want to read all that text. And then above that, we have the team leaders. And I just noticed that for a sign company that does graphics, these images of these two guys are pretty rough. Like this one's stretched and zoomed and poor quality. And then this image in the middle is almost so good quality that it looks like it might be a stock image. If not, it's a professional image. And then these guys, you just had, whatever images they could find. So, it's nice to have team images that are professional, especially when you're a graphic company or a visual company. So if we go back up to the navigation we were talking about, we have the about page. We have services. I like this because it's got the different services below it. So that makes sense to have that as a drop down. Then we have the products page. Then we have projects and learn more. So learn more to me is a little bit confusing. I think this is actually a blog. So you might want to just call this blog. I wasn't sure what learn more meant until I clicked it and saw that it was a blog. So, consider calling that just blog, because that kind of gives more instruction on what they're actually clicking on, rather than clicking on something vague like learn more. So I'll just show you one of the service pages just to give you an idea and comment on those. These are going to be good for SEO, which we'll talk about a little bit, because people might be using terms like aerial installs, ground installs. If not, you might want to consider changing these service page names to something that people will actually search, because they'll have a good chance of showing up in search engines. So like people are probably searching for repair, sign repair. So having that be its own page, or having it be a heading on this page would be good. But aerial install might be more of an industry term that people are not searching for. So think about using the real search terms that people are searching for the name of your service pages. Like custom ADA signs, that's probably something people would actually search for. Retail signage is also something people would actually search for. And in terms of design on this page, obviously there's an issue with this header area here not being placed correctly. This menu is covering it. You got some white margin here, white spacing that's not necessary. But the rest of the page looks okay with, an image and then just the kind of description. People who want detail probably will take the time to read through this information. And then we got our standard footer. Let's click on one more service page just to get an idea of what another one looks like. So this one's totally different. So another comment here would be to keep the service pages kind of similar to each other so that when people click around, they know what they're doing. They know where they're at, and it's going to help you just in organizing your website as well, because this one's way different than aerial installs. So let's click on one more. This one's a bit different too, and none of them have that header. So think about keeping your service pages similar just so that people kind of know they're in the same place and can get information that matches on each page. And I'm sure it'll help you in organizing the pages too if you kind of keep them somewhat similar. I'll comment on these social links up here because I just glanced at them. I haven't clicked on them yet, but a lot of times people will put these up at the top. It's kind of a prime spot here. It might get overlooked, but people click on them. It takes them away from the page. And a lot of times what you'll see, and it's true in this case, they're not using Twitter very much, or they're not posting to it regularly. So it's December right now and they haven't posted since April. So I'm not sure that having people go to social media is necessarily a great thing. So you might consider either only posting or linking to social media pages that you're active on, or maybe giving them a less prominent spot on the site, like putting them down at the bottom, and actually you have it in the footer, which is a little more discreet. People can find it if they want to, but you might not want to give it this prime spot here. I see that a lot with small business websites. So obviously I'm reviewing the desktop site, but it's always important to take a look at the mobile site as well. And usually to do a quick mobile test, I'll just drag the site to be more like a smartphone and just make sure that it is responsive. So it does shrink down to like a mobile menu. And if we scroll quick, let's just go back to the home page before we do this and see how it looks. You got the image still. Everything looks okay so far. So I'd say the site is mobile friendly, at least in its design. Another thing I like to do for a website audit would be a speed test. The site does seem to load reasonably fast when I'm just using it. So that's usually the best test, is it usable and does it appear to be fast, or at least not really slow. But you can also use sites like gtmetrics.com to do a page speed test to see if there's any issues that are causing the site to look slow to machines or to servers, and that's gonna it could affect your SEO even if your site appears to be fast just when you're using it or other people are using it. So I'm gonna let this finish here and we'll see what the score is. So the site actually got an F grade, 24% performance on this. And again, you do have to take these with a grain of salt because like I said, when I was using the site, it didn't seem to be too slow. So I'm kind of surprised it got an F, but it's saying about 4.5 seconds to load. And if we look at some of the main issues, you can kind of click through these as a website owner. But a lot of times with a site that's heavy on graphics or images, you're gonna have images that are just too large. So it is showing that some of these images on the home page, I think they're on the home page, or they might be somewhere else, but like here's one that's 1.53 megabytes. Definitely doesn't need to be that large. It could probably be cropped differently. This one's used on the home page, and then it could be probably a smaller, actually the size is okay at about 1600 pixels, but it could probably be saved at a smaller, like JPEG quality or something like that. It could definitely be a lot smaller, probably 500 kilobytes. And if you do that with a bunch of images, that's definitely going to improve the score. It's actually getting a low score for the server response time. So if you see this, it could be your host that's slow, for some reason. So if you're on like a budget host like GoDaddy, you might see slow server response times. But just fixing the images is probably going to be a big boost. A lot of times you'll see something like eliminate render blocking resources or things like that. There could be a lot of scripts loading. So if you have a WordPress site, make sure to turn off any plugins you're not using, and that's going to probably disable some of these scripts that are running, giving you a bad score, and also slowing down your website. It's talking about enormous network payloads, and again, these are large images. Looks like they're showing that same image. Here's another one over 1 megabyte. So it's something to look at on your site. You can head over to GTmetrix and do a speed test and see if you could find anything in here to improve your score, which is going to make your site look better to servers and search engines, but also it's going to make it load fast for your human visitors as well. So to give some insight into this website's search engine marketing, I'm going to go to semrush.com, and I'm just using a free account here, but you get a lot of insight for a free account. So I put their domain in, and I can click around. It's limited because it's a free account, but we see their authority score is 24, which is decent. This site's been around a while. I think I clicked on all time here, and the domain was active in 2013. So the site's got some authority. It's a good sign. They don't have a ton of traffic with 14 keyword positions showing. You could look at your top organic keywords on this site. Commercial signs, San Diego in the 8th spot. So they are on the first page for that. So there's some potential there. Project Arroyo. It's probably one of those project pages. It's actually a higher volume for searches compared to some of these others. So that might be like a local business or something, and people are finding it there. So that's another good reason to do those project pages, because it can result in organic search traffic as well. You can take a look at your competitors here and see how many keyword positions they have. Compared to your 144 positions here, you can see you have some competitors who are at 586, 448, 220, and there's one below you. So that gives some insight into who your competitors are. You can click on one of these to see what their keywords are and get some other insights. But a great way to increase the number of keywords you're ranking for would be to make those changes I mentioned on your service pages, continue to do those project pages, and then notice you did have a blog, so that's good, and that's a good way to get more positions in search engines. According to SEMrush, you're not doing any paid advertising like in Google Ads, so that would be something to consider. And for a business like yours where you can get repeat customers from people showing up for, after typing in sign company in San Diego, for example, let's do a quick search there and see who's showing up. I'm sure some of these are your competitors, some national companies like Vistaprint. But the nice thing about your business is that it could result in repeat business. So even though you're paying for a customer once, it can be long-term value. So definitely something to consider, getting some Google Ads running. So it would definitely be smart to consider running Google Ads for your business. And jumping back to SEMrush page, I did notice you had a lot of backlinks, which are just links to your website, which are really important for ranking in Google. But when I clicked on a lot of these, they were all showing errors. That one didn't work. Looks like this one does load. It's just a directory page. So, most SEO companies are going to tell you to just get more backlinks to your website. So that's something to consider. You could contact an SEO company to help you out with that, or just find ways to get, links back to your website from maybe clients or just sites within your industry, or directories too, like Yelp and social media like Facebook. So that's my review for this website. I hope the owner of the website finds it helpful, but I hope it also helps other viewers of this video, maybe to, like I said, glean some insight for their own website. One of the other reasons I like the idea of doing these website reviews for people on my channel is that anybody who's watching it can not only get some help for their own website, but as you're looking at the website, I'm scrolling through and look at some of the marketing stuff that I'm showing you, I'm sure you're going to have some insight as well. So I'd love for you to offer your comments so that the owner of this website can go back and look at them and get some insight from you guys, the viewers, on his website and his marketing. Because I'm just giving my own opinion in this video, but the value of everybody offering their opinion in the comments is going to be way more helpful. So go ahead and like this video if you like the idea of these marketing mentor videos where I review a website and some of the marketing. If you think that your website might be a good fit for me to review on this new series, go ahead and put your website in the comments and I'll check it out and maybe I'll review it on the next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.